So this what I don't understand. How does a non-Pacoima guy knows what a guy from Pacoima does in Pacoima?
So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the? You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, a.k.a. BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Listen. Cheetah. Gratitude is the attitude. Show is a blessing. To be back in the Black Box. Black Box.
Relax, roll up as we randomly react to content in these YouTube streets. Yeah. It's time for R&R.
Smack with that hustle. Big shout out to my SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
All that and then something to the income. Y'all seen the title. It's a crazy story. I got halfway through it and said, Fee Nucky, let me load this up and react to it because this was just something I would listen to on my spare time. They don't, at least halfway through it, I didn't hear it come up. But I think it was more to these guys' relationship than this story is suggesting. Yeah, the way it ended up so tragic. I think the older man was, to some degree, threatening to somehow expose what they had going on a private level, and I don't think the youngster was going for it. But anyway, probably go up before fall. No further ado, let's see what these two have been up to.
And the young man was following them, shooting at him. And he finally shot him down.
It was originated from my uncle, he my barber. He got it, and then he was like, it would look good on you because you superstar. But he said it'll be...
Off top, the barber's telling him how the hair, just look at, start off with him. Yeah, I mean, barbers can make suggestions, but the way this end up, and all this is about, that just sounds fishy.
Haircut.
It was the kind of crime that left an entire community stunned. A 21-year-old rapper with millions of streams and a Billboard charting single was accused of gunning down his barber in cold blood in front of the victim's grandmother. This victim was 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley, and his alleged killer was a client so close he considered him his little brother, Superstar Pride. This rising rapper, on the brink of major fame, is now facing a first-degree murder charge for going after an innocent man just after he closed a $3 million deal. A viral success story unraveled in a matter of minutes, and the person he allegedly killed wasn't just a stranger. It was someone he knew, someone who had helped shape his image, someone he called a friend. This is the case of Kadarius Pride, known to the world as Superstar Pride, and the murder of 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley. This tragic case unfolded in Panola County, located in northern Mississippi in the United States. It is home to a tightly woven community with families often rooted in agriculture or small-town life. Its atmosphere is one of gentle Southern charm and rich ties to local heritage. In 2023, the county recorded that property crime was notably higher than the U.S. norm, underscoring local efforts to address theft and burglary concerns. Also, there was a violent crime rate of approximately 55 per 100,000. One of these 55 was Marcus. Marcus Wheatley was born in 1983 and lived in Panola County, Mississippi. He was a longtime resident of the area, known by neighbors and friends as a kind, soft-spoken man who kept a low profile and minded his own business. Marcus was not part of the music industry, nor was he someone chasing fame or attention. He made his living through a skilled and humble profession. He was a barber. Through that line of work, Marcus became connected to a younger man from the community, who was gaining fast momentum online, Kadarius Pride. The 21-year-old rapper, performing under the name Superstar Pride, posted a snippet of his song Painting Pictures.
Now, if you look in his face, you can kind of see the potential to be, you feel me, in that older dude. In that barbershop, all them years, all them hours, all them days, probably dude got a propensity for the younger boys, light-skinned vanillers.
Which went completely viral.
Whenever I speak up, you gon' hear it, you gon' feel me. I'm the purest, niggas queers, really real. When you alone, it really fears.
And him sounding like that, looking like that, having that image, he could not afford to let old Marcus speak. He probably was knocking down females, doing another little DL with younger dudes. Old Marcus was in love with a thug.
Stand on my own, I don't need you near. Ain't no man that I fear. Bust that 5, won't shed a tear. Walk him down, come here. Skirt out 392 and I swear. Skills I know.
Seeing the attention and love the snippet was getting, he released the full song as his breakout single. The song spread rapidly across platforms like TikTok and YouTube, racking up tens of millions of views. It even climbed onto the Billboard Top 100 chart. But for Pride, it wasn't just the music that caught people's attention. It was also his look. His haircut became a distinctive part of his identity. Short in the front, long in the back. That very style, according to Pride, was suggested by Marcus. It wasn't just a casual recommendation. It became a defining feature of the young rapper's brand. It was so bizarre that it made him stand out amongst others. Marcus himself worked out of a mobile home located along Highway 35 North. He didn't have a flashy online presence or a history of controversy. Reports suggest he had no public romantic relationships and no known children. He lived.
See, them is all the signs. It was more to it than just Big Brother, manager Barber. That was his boo thing. Oh, mama.
The quiet life, and many described him as someone who tried to help others whenever he could. His grandmother, Mary Ann Strong, remained one of his closest relatives and lived nearby. Marcus and Pride shared a close relationship, one that extended even beyond a barber and client relationship. According to those who knew them, Marcus had even acted as a form of personal security for the young musician. Some referred to Marcus as Pride's unofficial bodyguard. Others saw him as a mentor or older brother figure. But Marcus was not aware of some of the Pride's struggles. The young rapper struggled with undocumented mental health issues that left those closest to him, including family, worried. It made him erratic and a risk, especially since he was someone with easy access to weapons. However, Marcus cared for him anyway and maintained an amicable relationship and peaceful lifestyle. For Pride, on the other hand, his life was getting more buzz.
Am I tripping or is y'all seeing what I'm seeing, hearing what I'm hearing? And his name is Pride. In a time like this, come on, man. Get out of here.
As he became more famous, his high-charting song brought so much good for Pride. A record label even offered him $3 million deal based on that one song alone. He turned the offer down.
He then dropped the official song and it instantly charted, causing one record label to offer him a $3 million record deal, all from just one viral snippet. Within just a few weeks, this man had gained everything he'd ever dreamed of. However, little did he know, it was all about to come crashing down.
Superstar Pride believed better things were coming his way, and he was worth more. So he demanded $5 million and believed he was going to get it, and he might have. But just 3 weeks later, Pride would absolutely destroy his good fortune with his own hands.
He thought he was finna the 5 tickets, but why? But he knew he couldn't get away with what he did. Well, I guess he threatened a woman. Maybe he thought, yeah, if I start thinking it's irrational, it had to be something more. Watch, they don't have no other reason they was beefing, bro.
On the afternoon of July 19th, 2023, Mary Ann, Marcus's grandmother, was inside the home when 21-year-old Superstar Pride entered. Moments later, she heard voices raised. It wasn't immediately clear what triggered the argument, but the tension escalated quickly. Marcus fled out the back door, running into the field behind the property. It was then that Pride chased him down with a gun in his hand. and before she could understand what was happening, the shots rang out. She watched in terror as Marcus collapsed, but it didn't stop there. Pride continued to fire even after Marcus had fallen, and then, as she stood nearby, he turned to her, and she realized this might be her turn to die. Instead, he asked a deadly question. Pride pointed the gun directly at her and asked if she planned to say anything. She was frozen. She didn't respond. Without a word, Pride returned to Marcus's body. According to the witness account, he fired one last round, this time into Marcus's head.
He'd rather let her live to say she saw that than to allow him to live to be able to tell what they have done together in private. That's deep.
Then he fled.
He fell here. He shot about 3 times after he fell. And he walked over to me and he pointed the gun at me and asked me if I was going to tell it. And he came back out here and fired a last shot in his head.
The red pickup truck he had arrived in sped away from the scene. Mary Ann stood in shock and pain, unable to call the police as she mourned her grandson. Luckily, although she was the only one to have seen the whole thing go down, she was not the only one to have heard the shots. Soon, someone else would make the call. Deputies were dispatched to the scene around 12:30 p.m. that Wednesday after a report of gunfire at a residence along Highway 35 North. When officers arrived, they encountered a grisly sight. 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley lay unresponsive in the field behind his mobile home with multiple gunshot wounds. Marcus Wheatley was declared dead at the scene. Standing nearby, visibly shaken and grief-stricken, was Mary Ann Strong, the grandmother of the victim. Officers secured the scene and immediately began their initial interviews. Mary Ann's account was clear and detailed. She had seen everything, from the moment Kadarius Pride, better known as Superstar Pride, entered her grandson's home, to the final shot that ended Marcus's life. And just like Pride had feared, she was very willing to talk. She told deputies that Pride and Marcus had gotten into a heated exchange. Then, she said, Marcus ran. Pride chased him down while firing his weapon. Even after Marcus fell, Pride continued shooting. Mary Ann then recalled how Pride turned the gun on her and demanded to know whether she intended to speak up about what she'd seen. Her statement didn't just provide emotional context. It offered law enforcement a direct identification of the suspect. But by the time deputies arrived, Pride had already fled. With Mary Ann's statement on record, police immediately issued a bulletin for 21-year-old Kadarius Pride, who was now wanted for questioning in connection with the homicide. Investigators quickly gathered evidence from the scene, including shell casings. Next came the witness statements from nearby residents who had heard the gunshots. Police continued canvassing the area, and soon they discovered a huge clue. Police located a red pickup truck parked and abandoned in Pope, Mississippi, not far from the crime scene. The vehicle matched the one Mary Ann Strong had seen Pride drive away in following the shooting. This detail corroborated her story and added a second layer of physical evidence linking Pride to the scene. By that point, law enforcement had begun treating the case as a fugitive situation. They reached out to the public and began tracking potential leads on Pride's whereabouts. But then, the case took an unexpected turn. Around 4:47 p.m., just over 4 hours after the shooting, Chief Deputy Reginald Lantern received a call from a family member of Kadarius Pride. The relative relayed a crucial message. Pride wanted to turn himself in. But no one believed it until Superstar Pride proved it to be true. That same afternoon, Pride voluntarily surrendered to law enforcement. He was taken into custody without incident and transported to the Panola County Detention Center. The charges were swift and serious, first-degree murder. Authorities made it clear that Pride was being held without bond, and his booking sent shock throughout both the music world and his local Mississippi community. The arrest marked a dramatic fall from grace for a young man who had, just weeks prior, been celebrating the success of his song Painting Pictures, which had gone viral and even charted on Billboard. As investigators continued their work, more pieces of the case began to emerge. The narrative forming around the motive suggested a personal dispute, not a random act of violence. One of the most widely circulated accounts came from Marianne Strong, who believed the shooting may have been connected to a disagreement over a music video.
He wanted Marcus to follow him, and Marcus couldn't do it.
No, Granny. I know you was mama, but on my mama, it was deeper than that. He was going deep in that crack. And your grandson was either jealous because he was getting all this attention and not being monogamous, and he was threatening to expose him, or he was even probably threatening to leave him and expose him. He probably was sprung on that older bussy, and he probably said, if you keep doing what you're doing, I'm finna go get this bussy up. He was like, that's my bussy, and no vodka. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't think it was about no video. He was that popping. He get anybody to shoot a video. He had the juice, not Marcus. So like, it would have been the other way around if that was the source of the rage.
He couldn't help him make more money.
According to her, Pride had asked Marcus to join him on a trip to California.
Oh, yeah, he got it all in his face looking like Eddie Long. Oh, my mama.
For an upcoming shoot. Marcus, she said, declined. That refusal may have escalated existing tensions, but authorities have not yet publicly confirmed this motive. Despite multiple interviews and reports, police have not released an official explanation as to what triggered the confrontation. As of now, they have cited the ongoing nature of the investigation and pending legal proceedings. What they have confirmed is that the evidence collected, eyewitness testimony, the abandoned vehicle, and Pride's own surrender, was enough to support the charge of first-degree murder. Meanwhile, the broader community in Panola County was left grappling with disbelief. Marcus Wheatley had no known criminal record. He was a respected figure in his neighborhood, and many were shocked that his life had ended in such a violent and public way. Pride's supporters, too, were left reeling. How could a rising star, someone who had overcome poverty and gained recognition for his raw lyrics and distinct delivery, throw everything away in a moment of rage?
We know why. It was romance. This was a romantic quarrel. It had nothing to do with no video or no career.
As the investigation continued, other troubling details began to surface. Reports revealed that just 2 days before the murder, a family member of Pride's had actually filed paperwork requesting a mental health evaluation. That paperwork was submitted to the sheriff's office, citing concerns about Pride's mental state. However, it appears that no action was taken on that request before the deadly shooting occurred. That revelation raised more questions than answers. Was this a case of untreated mental illness? Had there been signs of instability that were missed or ignored? Was the crime premeditated or the result of a sudden psychological break? Law enforcement hasn't yet provided those answers. What's certain is that superstar Pride now faced the reality of sitting behind bars, possibly for life. And back in Panola County, a grandmother still mourned the loss of her grandson, left with the haunting memory of watching him die. But justice would not come easily, and the battle was far from over. So, where's superstar Pride now? As of now, Pride remains in custody, facing a first-degree murder charge. No trial date has been announced, and no sentencing has occurred. But for those closest to the victim, and for the community that watched both men grow up, the damage was already irreversible. Even without a courtroom verdict, the emotional toll was evident. Marcus's grandmother, Marianne Strong, was more than just a witness. She had experienced the loss in the most traumatic way imaginable, watching her grandson die.
Man, black don't crack. She got a 40-something-year-old grandson. She's a beautiful woman.
In front of her. Her statements to the press reflected a mix of sorrow and disbelief. She described Marcus as a soft-hearted man, someone who went out of his way to help others, and someone who didn't deserve the violent fate that met him that day. What made the tragedy even harder to accept was the relationship between Marcus and Pride. Marcus wasn't a rival or a stranger. He had known Pride for years. He had cut his hair, shaped the style that helped define the rapper's visual image, and some saw him as Pride's mentor or older brother figure. So when news broke that Pride had allegedly shot Marcus multiple times and then threatened his grandmother before delivering a final bullet to the head, many in the community struggled to process it. Why would a man on the brink of national fame commit such a heinous act? Why would he destroy the very foundation of trust that had supported his rise? Family members of both men were largely quiet in the days following the arrest. Marcus Wheatley's family grieved in private, with no public announcements about funeral services or memorials. As of now, no official obituary or funeral details have been released to the public. But those who knew Marcus continued to speak of him with respect. They described a man who loved his grandmother, who had worked hard his entire life, and who remained humble even as those around him gained attention and influence. On the other side of the story, Pride's father, Jeffrey Anderson, expressed shock and sadness at what had transpired.
You know, it's still just something that's got to be looked into and to see what all transpired. You know, as of now, it's just so early.
In a statement to the press, he said it was too early to understand what had really happened or why. He urged people not to jump to conclusions, suggesting that more context might emerge in time. Still, there was no excuse for what had unfolded, and no explanation would ever bring Marcus back. Pride's musical trajectory had been promising. Now, instead of touring or recording music, Pride sits in a jail cell, facing a possible life sentence. His future is uncertain, and the silence from his legal team suggests
they gonna give him life. That's very certain.
That the case is still under heavy review. Prosecutors have made no public
The eyewitness testimony is gonna lock in a life sentence, if not death.
Statement about seeking the death penalty, but given the eyewitness testimony, the violent nature of the crime, and the suspect's immediate flight from the scene, the charge of first-degree murder is considered serious and
See what he said, exactly what I said.
Likely to be prosecuted to the fullest extent. These details lead us to the final question. How did this happen? What systems failed? Could a mental health intervention have changed the outcome? And perhaps most important,
is he chunking up the notorious N, the 2, and the thumb? That's another picture I thought I was tripping, but that one looked a lot more clear.
Importantly, what are we doing as communities to prevent this kind of senseless violence? If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, emotional regulation, or violent thoughts, don't wait. Reach out to professionals, counselors, or community.
That picture right there seals the deal. It's almost like he got his nipples protruding on purpose.
Leaders who can help. Sometimes just one conversation can prevent a tragedy. To those mourning Marcus Wheatley, we see you. We grieve with you. Rest in peace, Marcus Wheatley. Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Hey, Canada Russ, you hear my homie?
It's that big ol' I see him. Big grimy ass nigga, and you know that. Gold teeth in my mouth, guess this bitch think I'm Kodak. Dread slanging, got me feeling like the top shotters. Yeah, we from the same hood, but we are not partners. Not me, I ain't going for it. I'm finna perpetrate with ops, so I keep a blower popping at the hoochie like what you wanna know before. This pretty tease rolling my weed here, finna pay me for it. Jump out like my motherfucking shooters did, Who? Yeah, we sure did. Twice you be talking to yourself like twice you the shit. Put me in your mix, but don't you never get it twisted. I'm a robber hoe before I ever try to kiss her. Supersized big chip on my shoulder, yes I am the shit. Gun on my hip, make the bitch and you flip over, nigga. Who? Yeah, we sure did. Jump out like my motherfucking shooters did, Who? Yeah, we sure did. Twice you be talking to yourself like twice you the shit. put me in your mix, but don't you never get it twisted. I'm a robber hoe before I ever try to kiss her. Supersized big chip on my shoulder, yes I am the shit. Gun on my hip, make the bitch and you flip over, nigga. Huh? Who? Yeah, we sure did. I'm a robber hoe before I ever try to kiss her. Huh? Who? Yeah, we sure did. Twice you be talking to yourself like twice you the shit. Huh? Who? Yeah, we sure did. Grimy ass nigga and you know that. Gold teeth in my mouth, guess this bitch think I'm Kodak. Dress swinging, got me feeling like the top shotters. Yeah, we from the same hood, but we are not partners. Not me, I ain't going for it. I'm finna perpetrate with ops, so I keep a blower. Popping at the hoochie like what you wanna know me for. This pretty tease rolling my weed here, finna pay me for it. Jump out like my motherfucking shooters did, huh? Who? Yeah, we sure did. Huh? Who? Yeah, we sure did.
Snake Wood Net Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
It was SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
Spider Low, Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
It's Spider Low. Spider Low. Spider Low.
Spider Low.
So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the? Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Blood, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke, Spider Loke, huh? Nate Blood, on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, crib.
Point blank, do no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
You are now in the black box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka VJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!
Okay, I see you Phoenix with D-Nat. Well, hit that one on the screen. You'll like that one too. That's what YouTube believes. Oh, my mama. Cheetah.